The Meghalaya government yesterday in the assembly session has decided to seek a sanction of $30 million which will be used for developmental projects in the state, including integrated transport projects. James stated that the cabinet ministers agreed on the decision-making to construct and develop Meghalaya integrated transport projects with financial assistance from the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, among others, on their objective and aspiration. According to the minister, 20% of the $300 million will be sanctioned by the government and the remaining 80% will be taken as a loan from the aforementioned banks. In another decision taken by the government is to change the Fiscal Responsibility Amendment Bill 2006, wherein an agreement to hike the percentage of loans taken by the government from 3% to 4% due to the financial crisis in the state. The matter will be taken up in a budget session under the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Act 2003.
The MITP has been formulated with the objective to improve road connectivity, ropeways and inland waterways for transportation while keeping in view the tourism opportunities in the state. This program is also expected to bring about better access to markets, ease traffic congestion, and to promote socio-economic development, overall socio-economic development. So I would like to inform you that the Department of Economic Affairs, Government of India, Ministry of Finance had approved the project for external assistance of $300 million to be sought in two phases of $150 million and 150 into two, that is, so totaling $300 million. So in view of this, the approval of the cabinet was sought for the implementation of the Meghalaya integrated transport project in the state. This was discussed and the cabinet has approved the implementation of the Meghalaya integrated transport project. MB states that there is a certain ceiling on the amount of borrowing that a state can take in terms of availing of loans. So as per this FRBM, the government cannot exceed 3% of borrowings or loans of 3% of the GSDP of the state. So, the fact that sometimes the government needs to borrow additional loans to tide over certain commitments or to tide over, developmental programs, the cost involved in that. So, therefore, this relaxation will help the government to break that ceiling of 3% and go beyond 3% to 4.1, so that we can take more borrowings and tide over whatever deficit we may have in terms of bridging gaps for developmental projects. So 80% of the project cost is the external assistant. That 80% also, 90% is of that 80% is in the form of a grant and 10% is in the form of a loan, which the government is taking and the government needs to repay that back. It is this loan is also at a very, very nominal rate of interest, and the remaining 20%, since 80% is external assistance, the remaining 20% of the project cost, that will have to be borne by the state government. That is, the government of Meghalaya will bear the cost of 20% of the project cost. The rest of the 80% is by means of external assistance, out of which 90% is grant and 10% is loan.
So which is